All right. We are live for a quote unquote short energy and ascension support. Now, I do feel sharing this one. Seeing if anyone else. Just sharing the live feed on my Facebook. And we'll see who joins us. We'll see what comes through. Today is, I believe it's the Galactic New Year. And we're already in the Leo energies. We are moving through the Sirius portal and then the Lyran portal. So yeah, Sirius is July, Lyran or Lyrian is on like August. So I've been feeling, well, I've been feeling a lot of galactic energy for like most of the year. And so it's really fascinating. It's an energy that is new in some ways. Having connected to it in the way that I have, and just allowing my body to acclimate to their frequencies and to move accordingly or not. It's been very fascinating and interesting, to say the least. So I'm gonna be here for about maybe an hour or so, just to share, to support. If anyone comes through, well, interact, ask, you will interact and respond, support. Let's see if my internet holds up too. The last time I went live, just kind of gave out. And right now, it's taking a while to load. So we'll go with the flow. There we go. There's a lot of purification that's been coming through, which is part of the reason why I chose this image. And I also heard someone else mention that they had also been receiving a lot of rain, which is very supportive, extremely supportive, even though we all know that every element and every force of nature can create collapse, right? Can create a lot of disruption. And that is actually part of the reason why these things happen too. To activate and wake up through collapse, through disruption, through emotion as well. A lot of grief, anger, sadness is going to arise, a lot of fear as well, with these natural occurrences. And the biggest thing is to, excuse me, continually connect to these energies with your whole body. Continue to be with your body throughout every activation. Really allowing this very powerful portal to take you into new places inside, take you into new realities, take you into new aspects of yourself, take you beyond you thought was possible, take you beyond what you thought was real or true. This is really interesting for all of us, really going beyond our old perceptions, going beyond what we thought is possible. Because while we say, oh, anything is possible, right? We live in a world with infinite possibilities. The constructs within the third dimensional paradigm completely contradicts this and completely discredits anything that is outside of this consciousness, right? And so there are many things that we need to realize that we're still holding on to and believing and attaching to. When we talk about attachment, there is an emotional resistance, an emotional, a suppressed emotion. When there's a suppressed emotion, there is an attachment. Okay. Let me repeat that. When there is a suppressed emotion, there is an attachment. That emotional suppression creates the attachment. Okay. The emotion, the heavy emotion is like a glue. It's actually a very heavy glue. It's a very heavy rock, actually, that keeps things very low. It literally visualizes a very heavy rock or big boulder. Okay. Underneath it are the constructs, right? The programs. And so visually, like anything underneath or everything kept underneath the rock or the boulder is at ground level. Okay. Ground level tends to be third dimensional world, 3D hell. Okay. And so as you continue to feel into the heaviness of everything, of the emotion, of the energy, the rock starts to dissolve. So as these rocks, because there are many, many, many rocks, as these rocks start to dissolve, everything underneath it starts to move, starts to shift, starts to fall. It's no longer bound to these emotional heaviness, to the emotional heaviness, which means that things starts to elevate because nothing's held down anymore, or nothing's held back, or not as before. And so we have an opportunity to move, we have an opportunity to float, we have an opportunity to fly now within this new realm, within this new consciousness. The things that are possible within our new consciousness, within the higher states of consciousness, the things that are possible, the things that we can create, the things that we can allow are actually kind of beyond what we perceive right now. Because we've been so accustomed to the old ways, we've been so accustomed to the old frequencies, the old heaviness, we're not used to living outside of 3D box. Even after we wake up, even beyond our spiritual awakening, there's still a box. Like 4D is also a box. And in fact, 4D is like the invisible box. So we wake up from the 3D world, right? We start to perceive the 3D boxes. Now, when you open yourself and you wake up, you automatically start to shift from 3D unconscious to 4D perceptions, 4D consciousness. So you start to perceive more of these 3D boxes. What's tricky, quote unquote, about 4D is that you enter into the energy world. And there are many energetic boxes within the fourth dimensional passageway that we're not fully conscious of. Now, they're part of the 3D boxes, but they are a little bit different, which is part of the reason why we don't perceive them right away. It takes a while for us to perceive the deeper levels of boxes, the energetic boxes, the old duality linear perceptions within the 4D constructs. Which is part of the reason why the 4D passageway is kind of a quote unquote long passageway, because you're entering into the energetic world. We're not used to the energetic world. We don't really fully understand the energy world. We've been living in a very physical, materialized world in 3D. And so it takes a while to go beyond the physical, go beyond what you can see, go beyond what you can perceive with your linear head, and start accessing more of the energy world, the energy perceptions, the very like the essence of everything, and the constructs, the energetic constructs of everything. It's a process, but one of the reasons why emotions were so deeply suppressed within the third dimensional world is because the emotions are what hold the old consciousness world in place. So everything in 3D was don't feel, don't show emotion, don't keep a straight face, or keep this, or keep it together. Like all of these things are part of the emotional resistance and the emotional suppression. Part of the reason why we created the world of 3D the way we did is because we knew how emotions were key. We knew that through our emotions, we could connect to the spiritual body, our energetic body, which will then allow us to access deeper levels of truths, deeper levels of power, deeper levels of everything. So allowing yourself to remember the importance of emotions, and then going beyond the emotion and just feeling into the energy of everything. Allowing yourself to become more present, become more allowing of all of these emotions, of all of these energies that are being activated within you. So I'll mention, I saw a comment today about, more emotions coming up to the surface. Now, remembering this process is going to be, or phases of this process are going to be key. Now, the linear mind is very quick to forget, which is part of the reason why we go into fear every time, or almost every time. But when we take this leap forward, when we go into, massive quantum jumping, when we go into the new realms, higher realms, there's always going to be more to see. So it's very similar to going up in altitude. Okay, if you were to take a helicopter from where you are right now, okay, when you go up 20 feet, 20 meters, you're gonna get to see more. You're gonna get to see, probably like neighboring houses, and or probably, your whole street. And then you go even higher, another 20 meters, another 40 feet, whatever the case may be. You get to see more of your neighborhood. You get to see more of your city. You'll get to see downtown, whatever the case may be. And so you get the picture. The higher you go, the more you're going to be able to see. It's the same thing energetically throughout this physical ascension process. The higher you go, the more you're going to need to see and feel. And because there's a lot of things, and because you're infinite and you have no end to you, then you will always be granted the opportunity to see and feel more as you continue to raise in consciousness, as you continue to expand, as you continue to go higher and higher and higher. So this is a very normal part of this process. There will continue to be many, many things that will activate our emotions, that will activate our fears, that will aggravate, that will frustrate, that will confuse the heck out of us. When we talk about confusion, when I talk about confusion and all the things that I've realized about confusion, the 3D world is actually, we talk about fear, right? We talk about fear and lack as the main components of the 3D world. But a lot of what keeps it together, and a really big energy too, is confusion. Because nothing makes sense in the old world. Everything is backwards. Everything is inverted. Everything is so twisted. Everything is beyond what we perceive. Meaning, we can perceive more than we think. We've always been able to do that. But 3D constructs, 3D world, 3D program will always shut you down. It will always gaslight. It will always judge. It will always tell you you're wrong. It will always do anything to discredit you from trusting in your inner knowing, inner light, higher perception. And so, for many reasons, there are moments where we have no choice than to just follow that. Okay. Yet we still continue to live in a very confused state. And the reason why this is so heavy is because from a very early age, we could see so much. From a very early age, we can perceive so much. From a very early age, we knew more than most adults because you're able to see more when you're a kid. When you're a baby, you can actually see way more. Part of the reason why babies don't speak right away is because they see so much. We're not able to take in or and understand and actually even like accept everything that babies actually see. And it's so cool when now with this awareness, right? When I come into contact, even with just little kids, but babies in particular, they see so much, they know so much, they can perceive so much. Hold on. It's so fascinating to see them gaze out, gaze into thin air, gaze into your eyes, gaze into everything around them. And you can start to feel, oh, they're seeing way more than we can. Oh, they can perceive so much than we can. They're seeing all kinds of energies, they're seeing all kinds of beings, they're seeing all kinds of things. They can't say it because they're not able to communicate in the way most of us understand. We are able to, one of the really cool things that I can see is as we continue to open up to the energy world, as we continue to open up to, as we continue to connect deeper within ourselves, we are going to be able to communicate in a whole new way. And it's very cool now, like when I start to see this, and I started to see this, years ago, how connected we are. The information travels energetically. And so there have been very cool experiences where, my soul's been needing this or wanting this or whatever the case may be. And I don't have to physically, verbally communicate this. But this person comes in and offers exactly what I need. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is so cool, right? It's like you're reading my mind. It's like you know exactly what I needed. This is a level of this is telepathy, inner communication, energetic communication that we are now capable of. And it's all possible. And we're starting to see and feel more of these really cool things more and more and more. And they're just going to grow. Okay. The connection that we can each have with one another goes beyond anything we've experienced. And when we talk about connection, this is energetic, this is light connection. This goes beyond physical connection. This goes beyond the normal linear communication. We're starting to access multidimensional communication, multidimensional connections, multidimensional portals, multidimensional um, gifts. And it's been interesting and even like challenging at times because when you gain there's a level of control, and obviously there's a control mechanism deep, deep, deep inside of us. that kind of resists letting that go or resists opening up to other people are also gaining this level of connection. Other people are also gaining this level of awareness. It may come through the level of connection they have with you, and obviously the level of connection you have within yourself, but people are starting to sense more. People are starting to perceive a little bit more. And so, sometimes something comes from, mom, dad, parents, or neighbor, whatever the case may be, that may push me to trust a little bit more. It might push me out of my comfort zone. It might push me to, like, trust. Go do that, or go do this, or don't do that, or whatever the case may be. And it's been cool to just open up to and just allow yourself to flow. Sometimes higher self guidance will come through other people. Higher self guidance will come through quote unquote external sources. They're not external. Higher self guidance will come through all of these different levels and layers that we just have to continually open up to. Right. So again, going back into emotions, going into your what you feel, what you sense deeper within your body, because things will continue to push you to feel these things. The deeper you go, the more you're going to have to let go of, the more you're going to have to feel. As we move into this incoming month, I feel like once we hit August, once we continue to receive more of the 8 frequencies, infinite frequencies, there's going to be a lot more shakeups. Going to be a lot more movements. There's going to be a lot more awakenings. There's going to be a lot more to accelerate and to prepare us for what's to come. There's so much, and I'll repeat myself, reminding us all that the second half of this decade is going to be even more powerful. This first half of the decade was just kind of like preparation for what's to come. It's initiation after initiation. It's feeling more, becoming more comfortable with feeling more, becoming more comfortable with the body, becoming more comfortable with seeing more, sensing more, and this will just continue. Whatever you're experiencing in your reality, whatever elements are coming through into your reality, sun, fire, rain, water, earth, ground, air, okay, all of these elements are supporting you. All of these elements are pushing a lot of things out, clearing a lot of things out, cleansing, purifying, burning a lot of things. We went through a huge level of burning energies. Right before solstice, it was like incredibly hot, hotter than normal, hotter than usual. Well, we went through that for about a year and a half, and literally on solstice, everything just flipped. And we've just been getting so much water, so much rain, and I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. Yes, it's creating a bit of havoc in some areas. It's creating a little bit of instability. It's obviously there's well not I don't want to say obviously there's a lot of things structurally that isn't quite ready or strong enough to take this much rain. And yet it's part of the wake-up call. It's part of the cleansing. And it's also part of just how emotional and how much emotions are going to continually be brought up and be activated. So there's a lot of things within what's happening. There's a lot of things that are happening within nature-wise, elemental-wise, that we just have to open up to. Okay. There will continually be a lot of movement. Movement is essential. Movement is key. Movement is who we are. Movement is what this is all about. It's all about all kinds of movement. This isn't just physical movement. There's an enormous amount of energetic movement that has to happen first. In fact, the most important kind of movement will always be energetic first, like cellular, like the smallest particles need to be able to move. And then everything moves after that. It's a ripple effect. So allowing yourself to become more conscious of the movement that is needed within and without. Okay. It's going to be a lot of internal movement. This will require a lot of sleep. This will require a lot of stillness. It's going to be a lot of emotional, of course, and mental movement, a lot of emotions, a lot of purging, a lot of letting out all the emotions in a physical way until you get a little bit more stabilized, more anchored. And then there's going to be a lot more physical movement. You moving physically, you traveling, you relocating, and or a lot of movement within your physical world, physical environment. And so for me lately, it's been like, you gotta move more. You gotta move more things in your environment. And it doesn't matter how quote unquote small it is. Every movement is monumental. Remember that. Every movement is monumental. The key is to keep on moving. Again, mentally, physically, emotionally, and energetically. And so moving into this new phase of always observing your environment, always being open to the physical movement of the physical things around me, that's going to be required. Okay. Everything may seem organized, everything may seem like it's in its place. But at some level, everything will need to continually be moving. And so this isn't about order, keeping everything always ordered or organized or looking neat. This is about continually feeling into things that need to be moved. And so for the past several days now, it's been like, get up, Samantha. I know you're tired. I know you're this. Higher self will push you, but higher self will always grant you enough energy to do exactly what's needed. And that's also a really big key. Higher self will provide you with everything. The key is to continually connect, continually allow higher self to come through. Because the reason why we're a little scared and the reason why we get a little caught up with not having enough energy to do this or not having enough energy to do that is because we're still connecting to ego. Ego sucks your light away. You will never have enough energy if you allow yourself to continually connect only to ego. Higher self will be the one that will grant you with everything that you need. We haven't been taught to connect and fully trust this aspect. But we are in that phase right now. We are in that process of continuing to open up, continuing to allow ourselves to trust a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And so, again, it's like, I know you're tired. I know you're exhausted. I know you would rather be doing this or that. But, and I mentioned a little bit of this, the new realization that come through about the resistance that I had inside, and that broke me. And so now I'm becoming a little more aware of like, okay, just being open. Yes, you're seeing this. You're seeing this for a reason. It needs to be moved. It needs to be shifted. Everything you see is for a reason. Everything you hear is for a reason. Everything you feel is for a reason. Everything you perceive is for a reason. Everything. And so you will start to become more aware of, okay, this is coming into my perception. This is coming through one of my five senses to perceive, or six senses to perceive. There's a reason for that. What's the purpose? What do I need to do? What do I need to feel? And so a lot of it for me has been becoming more aware of what you have, becoming more aware of where things are, becoming more aware of shifting things out, becoming more aware of what you're still keeping. And it's so fascinating sometimes because like if you guys would see me, like I don't have a lot of things still. And that's also part of just me becoming aware and me working through deeper levels of lack. And yet it's part of the process because the less physical things you have, the more you're able to expand. So it's all part of the process. But you will move into all kinds of phases. There has already been, this perception message of you're moving into a new phase, which means you're going to need more things to support you, more things to expand you, more things for you to support more people. Part of the reason for me anyway in my journey, why I've kept things quite small, why I don't have a lot of things yet, or don't have a lot of reach yet. It's because I am preparing myself to, like, I'm not ready to hold that reality in place yet. But as I continue to move and expand and go deeper, there are a lot of things changing. So a lot of things moving. There's a lot of things that I need to continually allow myself to feel and move and sense and shift within my little world to continually open up to more things, more people, more support, bigger groups, right? Bigger ways to support others, etc. And so again, it's been like move, shift things, shift this, open up, organize this, keep things at least. It's so funny because I always, way before I woke up, I would always say I have an organized mess. I could never really deal with or actually accomplish things if I had a lot of a lot of mess. So I was always very conscious about organizing my mess. And to this day, right? And yet that wasn't enough. So while I had an organized mess, it's like, no, this is still messy. You need to know where things are. You need to have a space for them. You need to get rid of the things that you don't need. And it's this constant movement, guys, that will actually never quite end because your energy itself and energy is always moving. So you always have to be in this flow of movement, shifting, opening up, allowing things, right? So anyway, just bringing some awareness through some support. Body wise, there's a lot of things. Body wise, there will always be a lot of body things coming out for every single one of us. Remembering that the pain is part of the expansion. Remembering that the pain is part of the wake up calls. Remembering that pain is not what you perceive. Okay, 3D old world perceived pain as something that's happening. There's something wrong. There's something dangerous occurring. There's a threat. As you continue to open up, as you continue to move through more emotions, you will start to perceive pain differently. You will start to open up more to becoming a little more comfortable with pain as part of the expansion and as part of the clearing process. When we say there's literally nothing to fear, like literally, period, that's it. The linear mind still gets caught up in the things it doesn't know, the things that are perceived to be separate. Anything you perceive to be separate creates a fear. When you do not perceive that separation, when you go deeper inside and you start to bridge all those gaps and you feel connected to absolutely everything, the fear that may come through is it's quite small or not as big and not as strong as it once was because your light has become bigger. The connection has become bigger. And the more connected you are, the more connected you feel, the more you know that everything at some level supports. And so fear dissolves and the reality shifts and you have less things to be fearful of. It's all through connection. The reason why there's so much fear is because of the level of separation we've held inside. It's been huge, which is why part of the reason why we've lived with so much fear, with so much protection mechanisms. As you continue to open up and connect all of these dots and feel more connected, you will start to feel and remember that there is nothing for you to protect yourself from. Because the more connected you are, the more supportive your reality becomes. It's separation that distorts everything and that creates a reality that you perceive doesn't support you. And that, again, is only just a perception. So, again, opening yourself up in every way, allowing your body to go through the physical changes and the physical movement that it needs. And know that you're not alone. Remembering that continuously, bringing that into your awareness. And breathe. Breathe fully, breathe deeply, breathe in every way, breathe more light, breathe more light. Taking a moment to just breathe here with me. Breathe more light, breathe more of your divinity. And know that this light is everything you need. And this light will gift you with everything that you need. So with that, sending you much love. Huge hugs.